Let me start by saying, I've driven through a lot of places in India, especially small rural roads where GPS fails and darkness creeps in before sunset. But Rani Road near Udaipur is the only place that made me truly believe I was going to die. And maybe I did. This happened in October 2023, just a few days before Diwali. I'd flown to Udaipur for a solo project. I do freelance videography, and this was supposed to be a peaceful shoot around the lakes and old city architecture. My homestay was located in a quiet area west of Fateh Sagar Lake, and the only road that connected it to the city was, you guessed it, Rani Road. Locals warned me not to take it after dark. They didn't explain much, just vague words like too quiet at night, and sometimes things appear. I laughed it off, thought it was superstition or local folklore meant to keep tourists from roaming at night. But then came the night I had to work late. It was around 9:45 p.m. when I finally packed up my drone, loaded my gear into the car, and started heading back. Google Maps showed the regular city route was blocked because of a traffic jam near a festival procession. So the only open option? Rani Road. I clicked start and drove in. At first it was peaceful. The trees swayed gently in the wind and the moon cast a silver glow over the lake. I rolled down the window and played some soft music to keep myself awake. About 10 minutes in, I noticed something strange. There was no one on the road, not a single car, no bikes, no walkers, not even dogs barking in the distance. Just silence. Then the radio began to cut out, weird static and faint voices in a language I didn't understand, almost like whispers layered on top of each other. I switched it off and focused on the road. That's when I saw her. She was standing on the side of the road, facing away. A woman in a red sari, drenched like she had just come out of the lake. Her hair clung to her back. One hand held a cloth bag, the other just hung limply. She didn't move. I slowed down. Instinctively, I didn't want to hit her, obviously. She slowly turned. Her face was pale, lips blue, eyes empty, not blind, just empty. Like the face of someone who had seen death long ago and never came back from it. Then she smiled. And my engine died. No warning, no sputter, just dead. My car sat there, lights flickering, me frozen at the wheel, watching her as she slowly began walking toward me. Each step was too slow, like she wasn't touching the ground, but gliding an inch above it. I locked the doors. She reached the window and knocked, just once. I didn't move. She knocked again. And then I blinked, and she was gone. I sat there for what felt like an hour. Tried to start the car again. It worked perfectly. I floored it, driving faster than I should have, eyes locked on the road. But the GPS wasn't working anymore. It just said, recalculating. On a loop, and somehow the road started to change. The asphalt gave way to cobbled stone. The trees looked older, the air thicker. The moon was still out, but the sky was wrong. Too many stars in unnatural patterns, and that's when I realized I wasn't on Rani Road anymore. I came to a village, small, strange, with lanterns flickering on old wooden poles. Mud houses lined the path. No street names, no signboards. Just a single well in the middle and rows of identical doors. And no people, except for one. A man in white sitting cross-legged near the well. His eyes were shut. His lips were moving like he was chanting something. Over and over I slowed down. He opened his eyes and whispered, "You took her with you." Then I heard the door behind me open. I spun around. The back seat was empty, but it was wet, soaking, and the scent of lake water filled the car. I put the gear in reverse, but the road behind me was gone, just fog. I drove forward blindly, tears in my eyes, heart in my throat, until the village melted away into trees again. When I finally broke through the fog, I was back on Ronnie Road. It was 3:27 a.m. I had been gone for nearly 5 hours, but the fuel tank was still full, and my phone had zero record of my GPS route. When I reached the homestay, the owner opened the door before I knocked. He looked at me like he was expecting something else, then said, "You saw her, didn't you?" I couldn't sleep for days. Every time I shut my eyes, I see that village, that man, that woman in red sitting in my back seat. Sometimes when I'm driving alone, my rear-view mirror fogs up, and once in the mist I saw a handprint appear on the glass from the inside. People say Ronnie Road is cursed, but it's not the road, it's what waits off the road. A version of the world you're not supposed to see, and if you go too far in, something follows you back. People say there are 3 paths that lead off Ronnie Road, one into the city, one to the lake, and one to the forest. But there's a 4th path, one that shouldn't exist, and I walked down it. This happened in late 2022. I was visiting my cousin Dev in Udaipur. We'd grown up together, always chasing stories and filming haunted places for YouTube. That weekend, he dared me to film something nobody had ever dared before. Midnight walk on Ronnie Road. There was a challenge trend back then. Record your reaction walking the entire road at night. No car, no lights, no turning back. But Dev added a twist. He wanted to find what locals whispered about, but no one really believed. The 4th path, an invisible road that appears under a full moon. We set out at 12:06 a.m. The street lamps flickered like dying candles. Fog hugged the ground. The lake, which usually sparkled under the moonlight, looked like a vat of oil. By 12:30, we reached the curve where the road forks into 3 directions. Left went up into the hills, right down toward the lakefront. Straight ahead led back into the city, and then I saw it. A 4th path, narrow, dirt-covered, flanked by thorny trees. It wasn't on Google Maps, nor had we seen it during the day, but now it was there, waiting. Dev grinned like he'd won a bet. "You see it too, right?" I nodded. He hit record. We walked in. At first it just felt off. No wind, no night insects, only the sound of our shoes crunching dry leaves. Then we noticed something stranger. The trees on either side weren't just trees. They were identical. Same twisted shape, same broken branch pattern, repeating like a broken game texture. We walked for 10 minutes. No turns, no end, no sound except the faint crunch behind us, which I thought was Dev. Until I looked back and saw no one behind me. "Dev?" I called. No answer, just fog. The path was now barely visible. I pulled out my phone. No network, of course. I turned back the way I came, trying to retrace my steps, but somehow it led me deeper. The trees got taller, darker, the air colder. Then I saw Dev's camera on the ground. Lens cracked, still recording. I picked it up. The playback showed his last 30 seconds. He was filming his feet, whispering to himself. I think I saw something in the trees. I hear whispering, but not around me, inside me. Then the screen jerked. He looked up and the camera caught a shadow. Not human, not animal, crawling sideways along the trees. What the hell is that? The footage glitched, then went black. I dropped the camera and ran. But I never hit the end of the path. Just more trees, more fog. And then I heard breathing. Not mine. Deep, wet breathing right behind my ear. I turned and saw nothing, but I felt fingers brush the back of my neck. I screamed and ran again blindly until the fog broke, and suddenly I was back at the main road. It was 3:17 a.m. Over 3 hours had passed, but for me it felt like 20 minutes. They never found Dev. The footage was corrupted when I handed it to the police. Worse, no one I showed the fourth path to could see it again. Even when I returned during another full moon, it wasn't there. Or maybe it was watching, waiting. I still get messages on Dev's old YouTube account, private videos I never posted. They show his point of view, but in them, he's not alone. Something follows him. A crawling, distorted shape, just behind every frame, getting closer with every upload. Last month I got a package, no return address. Inside was Dev's camera, still recording. I don't sleep much anymore, because I can still hear the wet breathing when I close my eyes. And sometimes in mirrors I see a fourth path behind me, just waiting for me to walk it again. On the night of August 17th, 2021, two friends, Rahil and Munir, left a late-night party in Udaipur's city center. It was nearly 1:15 a.m. when they booked an online cab home. The fastest route offered by the app cut through Rani Road. The cab arrived, a dusty white Indica with no license plate in the front. Odd but not alarming. The driver didn't speak. He just nodded at them and gestured toward the back seat. Rahil sat behind the driver. Munir sat behind the passenger side. As soon as they pulled onto Rani Road, the air inside the car shifted. The AC was off, windows up, but both friends felt an unnatural chill. The road, normally quiet, felt dead. No lights, no lake breeze, no frogs or crickets, just a static silence. Then the radio came on, old crackling static, and underneath it, a voice, a female one, software barely audible. "Why did you leave me?" Rahil leaned forward. "Excuse me, Paya, the radio's..." But when he looked at the driver's face, there wasn't one. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, just smooth skin stretched across bone. He grabbed Munir's arm, panic rising. "Don't scream," the radio whispered. The voice grew louder. "He can hear you." The road outside looked wrong. It kept repeating, same tree, same broken signpost, same flickering lamp on the lake's edge. Rahil tapped Munir's phone. No network. The cab's dashboard screen blinked. ETA, unknown. They tried the doors, locked. Windows wouldn't budge. Then Munir leaned forward and whispered, "I saw something in the mirror." "What?" He pointed toward the rear view. In it, the road behind them was gone, replaced with a long corridor, stone walls lined with doors. Each door had a name, names they didn't recognize. One door slowly creaked open in the mirror. Inside, darkness. But something moved in it. They both started shouting. The driver didn't flinch. The voice in the radio now begged, "Don't open the door, please, don't open it." The car came to a sudden stop. Outside the cab was a house, a decaying two-story haveli they'd never seen before, standing right on the lakeside. The driver finally moved. He opened his door and stepped out. But when his foot touched the road, it sank into it, like tar. He turned and looked at them with his faceless head. A new voice spoke. Not from the radio, but from behind them. "Your names were called." They turned. In the back seat with them now sat a woman, pale with soaking wet hair and a mouth stretched into a permanent smile. "I've been waiting," she said. "That's where the CCTV footage ends." The car was found the next morning abandoned on the lakeside road, doors wide open, no one inside, no record of the driver. Raheel and Munir were never seen again. The only strange detail: a phone was found in the back seat. It had a 2-minute audio recording on it. The last thing you can hear is a woman laughing. Then the sound of a door slamming shut.